go again. Let's talk about words, because around here we're kind of a wordsmith. You know that from watching the last videos. You know that from reading some of the things that you get from us. But let's talk about words to purge from your vocabulary because they have too many meanings, and insurance is creating understanding, creating insurance understanding. I happened to listen to a little bit of a podcast last night about hiring, and the most important item for this firm that you might know about, if I would say its name, in hiring was if they could write clearly enough. They were hiring, in this instance, graphic designers, and they hired them for pay for a week, had them create some of the stuff that they hired them for, but then they had to physically write out what they created. And the job offer was based on how well they could write it out and how well those who read it could understand it. Now, we go around here because I'm not very good at that. I cause all sorts of problems because I write in shorthand. And in selling insurance, you can't write in shorthand and you can't talk in shorthand, and we have to talk in words that people understand. So don't use insurance words. We've talked about it before. We have a couple of pages on plain speak where we converted insurance words into plain speak. But let's talk about some normal words not to use when you're talking. Often. What does that mean? How long? How often is often? Always. What does that mean? Is that for life? What is sometimes? How often is that? This is talking to a potential client, a future client. Usually. What does that mean? Most of the time, occasionally, seldom, a lot, almost always, rarely, frequently, quite often. Service. What does service mean? If you can't describe it exactly, don't talk about the great service you give. Talk about certs are out the same day they're requested. All phone calls are returned before the sun sets that day. Be very specific in how you communicate, not to cause misunderstanding, because misunderstanding confuses, and confusion-free is what you gotta be. Confusion-free is what you gotta be. Remember that. A few more. Value added, who knows? It might be strategic benefits. It might be privileges. Value added, what's that mean? And let's not even do that anymore. Overpay. By $1, by 100, what's that mean specifically? You can be overcharged, and you can determine exactly what's overcharged when we do workers' comp. Loss prevention. You stop the bad stuff from happening. Talk in common language. Isn't that loss prevention? Just stopping the bad stuff from happening? Sure, insurance terms, loss prevention terms, but let's talk about human language. Accident. What's an accident? Well, we know what an accident is. That's a little more specific, but should you describe it just fractionally more? And save money. Saved it for last because CFOs look at reducing costs, and our job is to shrink the experienced amount if you're in the comp field like we are. Your job is to make sure the buyer gets the best value for their money as long as you and they determine and define value. Because every business owner wants the right deal. We'll see you next time.